Alright, our viewers, you are welcome back this week to Point Blank Talk Show on Newspapers. Here we discuss matters of public concern relating to Badagry, Nigeria, and the world at large. Today with me is Dovoeke Daniel, who has always been with me on this show. And I want to appreciate our viewers for consistent follow-up on our previous show. Today on Badagry, we'll be discussing recently there was about 65 Nigerians that was returned from Ghana. Yeah, they were repatriated from Ghana to Nigeria. The Ghanaian government has said these people they don't have papers, they don't have international passport, they don't have all the required documents to stay. They are illegal. They have came through in the illegal route. So it's continuously calling for concern because this is not going. Is this the one that happened a few days ago? Is not the first time. Recently, the Ghanaian government has likewise returned some number of youth from Ghana and some other part of the country, the African countries. Several Nigerians. Even a few days ago, there was some Nigerians that were going through Benin Republic border, and the immigration intercepted. They were suspected to be traffic. So, and while they were interrogated, it was discovered that they've gotten into the hand of human trafficking. What is this message sending? What type of message is this sending regarding the image of Nigeria?
Well, I think human trafficking is a serious problem, not only in Nigeria but in so many places. But over the years, Nigerians have been trafficked into Ghana, they have been trafficked into Cote d'Ivoire, they have been trafficked into even Libya. So these are some of the hotspots that Nigerians are, legally trafficked to, and all of them, or most of all of these people, they are illegal migrants in the country to which they are trafficked to. Now, some of them are used for different legal purposes, ranging from sex workers, slaves, and
domestic workers, and
illegal works. That is the essence of trafficking these people. And even to so many of them, they would not have the thorough understanding of what they were going there to do. What they were told, they were given some juicy promises and so many things. In fact, I can remember very well that I happened to stalk one person who was very close to me. There was someone who has been trafficked to Cote d'Ivoire, and there was this, the person too, he was mandated to bring another person. Then in the process, they contacted someone who was very close to me, and the person is contemplating of, they even pay higher. The person was mandated to pay around $500 as at, I'm talking about 2019. The exchange rate was still, better. So he was mandated to pay that amount, and with the hope that he will be given a very good job, he will be given accommodation, and start off a new life. In the process of interrogation, I have to tell you, look, all of these are lies. They do not exist. They are a means to trap you to Cote d'Ivoire, and in the end, they will definitely use you again to get another person. So if the person who is speaking with you is truly sincere, then tell the person to use his own money to finance the whole process. Then you should get your passport. They should issue you a visa with work permit. That is when you should know that these people are genuine. But if there is nothing like that, then you should never trust the process.
Some will go as far as saying that these people do not need the international passport. That all they need, they have way they buy their way around it. So that most of them that were returned, none of them had international passport.
That is the irony of it, because even with ECOWAS treaty and ECOWAS charter, it does not imply that there will be free movement of goods and services. Does not imply that you will not carry your passport. You will carry your passport. It will be signed and stamped by immigration officers
And you are moving out of
that
this
you are
country,
moving
you are
from one
going
country to another country without the problems of visa. That is what it means. It does not imply that you are moving unchecked, without visa, without identity. No, these are illegal.
From what you said now, it looks like it means before this has been going on before now.
It has been
Because some people are linking it to the current hardship in the country. Is there any correlation?
Well, the current hardship in the country can only inflate the number, but it does not mean that it started now. It has been ongoing for a very long time. The process has been there. It has always continued. You can see some people are even desperate that they believe they frame up lies to them that once you get to Libya, you cross to Morocco, from Libya through the Atlantic Ocean, and you get a better life in Europe, which are not true. You should stop deceiving themselves. If you are illegal migrant, you can never, in fact, those who are even immigrating legally, without the required skill, they are doing jobs they cannot do in their country.
Yeah.
Not to mention illegal migrants.
Yeah, those that do not have any paper.
You do not have any
visa.
paper, you do not have any document to back up yourself. Definitely you will be working at night, or you'll be working as sex worker, you'll be working as slaves, and your identity will be hidden. You cannot come to public space.
I had the access to speak with one of the young ladies, because about 8 young ladies were among them. Though one was telling me, she said he was promised to go work there at a spa, and the pay was said to be higher and pay. I was now asking her, do you learn any trade in Nigeria before you left? She said, yeah, she learned hairdressing and she graduated. So, and her hope was that when she go over there, she make money and come back to Nigeria to settle out. But on getting there,
The story was
she
different.
discovered that she had to go for sex work, and meanwhile, by the time she go for the work, she doesn't get paid. The boss, the madam who took her there, is the one that will get the payment.
That is what
And
it has been.
she said she eventually escaped to the embassy, which led to her return. What do you have to say? Because we have numbers of them that cannot escape. What do you think the government can do?
What we are saying on the part of Nigerian government should, constantly address the problem of illegal. And again, Nigerian government should always move, to quickly stop all of these problems, especially once they have information that Nigerians are now immigrating illegally to a particular country. Then the foreign minister should use their office to quickly investigate those issues and get Nigerians that are illegal migrants, get them out from those places. Most of them are people who were lied to, and on getting there, the juicy promises are not what they saw over there. So most of them, Nigerians, so many of them are desperate to, they believe that Nigeria is bad. We are not saying that our government is, doing everything it takes to make Nigeria better. But at the same time, it is not to say that Nigeria is as bad as we think. Because most people believe that Nigeria is bad, that every other places are better than Nigeria. But once you get over there, you will now feel disappointed that the situation even there is more terrible than where you are coming from. And there is nobody, there is no help. There is nobody to, that you can run to, that can easily, come to your rescue and give you any kind of support. Nobody is there for you. But here in Nigeria, you can still look up to your people and look for solicit for different kind of support. But in the process where you think of desperation, then you go through the legal route. And getting there, you become sex worker, you become slaves, you become, a domestic worker, and you are not getting paid. Those who took you down there paid your cost of transportation, and they are the one who will be receiving those money and giving you stipend that will not even survive you to run away. So that has been what they have been doing. The story I was saying earlier on, the person who was even speaking to my brother, to my friends, that we should come over to Cote d'Ivoire. It was not up to 2 weeks. I saw the person and I called the person that, look, the person who you told me was promising you to come to Cote d'Ivoire. I saw him just now, and he said he has returned to that the guy told him that he has returned to Ibadan, that he was scammed, that he was trafficked, they were even locked in the house, they were forced to make calls, that they should call people who come in the same vein, pay that money, and they will come over there, they will probably, some of them are under hostages. And they are forced to call their people to bring money. So this is some of the legal things that have been going on for us. So government should just try to use their offices to educate Nigerians. Government should do more. They need to start speaking to Nigerians. It is no longer the time where they sit down comfortably and there is no communication between Nigerians and their government.
You are talking about sensitization, right?
Yes, they have to sensitize the people.
Because over time, people has always come back to share their experience, terrible experience. Despite that, people seems not to still know that these such things are happening. Because when you look at some situations where you tell some, and the level of ignorance in Nigeria is another factor. Because when you are telling somebody that you are going to Libya and is expecting and is with the current state of Libya, and the person is expecting a better life in a state where there is anarchy, there's chaos over time. So I think the government should do more in terms of enlightening people. Another thing that is giving me concern as a guy looking at the situation of the country, repatriating these people is here. Well, you see, in the sense that by the time you bring these people back, what is the plan of the government? Because over time, I've not heard of any, initiative of the government to resettle these people. Because over time, you see some people that they will return a particular person maybe 2-3 times. He's still going back there, despite the difficulties over there.
Yeah, you see, some of them or most of them, in fact, it is not even limited to these beggar migrants. Even those who migrated legally to different countries, like Dubai have been recently, they are importing Nigerians who came to their country through visitor visa, and their passport have expired and they refuse to return back to their country. Their visa has expired and they refuse to return back to their country. They are there working illegally. Some of them are working, but they don't get paid directly for the system not to detect them. So they get paid through some proxies who now pay them physical cash. So in all of this, most of them, once they are caught, they are deported back to their country. But for shame of not making it, especially when you have announced that traveling out, some people see it as the only way to be prosperous. That once you are in your country, you cannot be prosperous. That is thinking of some people, and because they have traveled out, they believe that they are no longer in the class of those they left behind. So today, once they are now deported, many of them find it difficult to reassociate themselves back to the society. So in this regard, they would rather look for means to run away, so that they believe that it is better to bear the shame outside than to remain at home and be ashamed. So through all of this, these people look for different means to go back. So that in all of this, coming back to those illegal migrants that trafficked out of the country, some of them, after even they must have been returned, they still feel ashamed that they are not yet become successful as they thought. So they still cannot stay here comfortably. So they have to run back. And on the part of government, there is little to what government can do.
Okay.
Even in the US, illegal migrants, until recently when there was, demand for skilled workers that President Biden was now thinking of trying to give illegal migrants chances to work, that they should be considered granting work permits. So there is little to what government can do about those that are returned. The government that has not even taken care of those that
Those that
are
are
at home.
staying.
So is that the same government that will now be thinking of providing a solution to those who ran away? The only help they can do on their part is to bring them back, then return to the society. If you can incorporate yourself, look for what you can do, then start up something. If you are educated, then you can apply for jobs. But government will not bring jobs to the comfort of your house. And that you run away from your country and returning, government has been able to use their office to bring you back. That same government will still not be liable to provide you with a job. Those that are at home are still looking for that job. Not to mention you that return, and so sometimes most of them do not even have the required skill.
Yeah.
They are not educated, they do not have the skill. So how is it possible? The best way for them, some of them should think of how to go and learn a skill. Some should go into trading. They should just look inward. They should look.
But another thing I saw about them that have about going to 30 something women, some with 5 kids, some with 6 kids, some with 3 kids. Their kids are still within the range of 6 years old, 2 years old, a year, few months old. What do you think? Don't you think that, and most of them that are with kids are from the northern part of, don't you think the insecurity thing have contributed to that? Because if a whole family is good without the father, there's not even any, they don't have any document, they don't have any, some of them do not even have a mobile phone, they don't have connect to even those that are home. What do you think would that affect? What would that do to the Nigerian society and the development?
You see, that's another dimension to the problem. Now, insecurity has forced some people to relocate. Now we are now thinking about two-way problem. On the one part, we have been discussing the issue of brain drainage. But brain drainage is for those who have a brain,
Yeah.
and something to offer, who are relocating legally. Now we are now talking about those who have nothing to offer, or less little. They are forced, but they are forced due to insecurity within their own home land. But again, someone who has suffered insecurity should be looking for security and not looking for, legal means to relocate. And again, as you have said, that most of them are northerners. You see, over time, if you even look within Nigeria, most of them are illiterate. They do not have basic education to even understand that, look, for you to travel out of your own country, you need some documents, you should do this or do that. The level of illiteracy in the north is alarming, and it's one of the factors that have created some of the problem. Because if there is insecurity in the north and the insecurity is forcing them to relocate, they should rather look for safer zone within the country to relocate to move to successfully, rather than looking for illegal means to relocate to a strange land that their immigration policy and everything you do not understand, that you can be treated as criminal and you can be treated anyhow. So rather they should look for means to move to safer zone within the country. You go look at around Lagos, see so many of them, they are all on the streets. That's where they sleep, that's where they sleep. You hardly see any state in Nigeria right now that you will not see another. They are mostly on the streets, they have no homes. And these northern oligarchs, let me call them that, they are not looking for how to provide solution to the problems of their people. Because if they truly think or thought about their people, they must ensure that this Badagry system is no longer what Nigeria needs in 21st century. It does not make any sense. Nigeria or northern Nigeria is not the only Islamic state across the world. Have Saudi Arabia where they even go to pilgrimage,
which is highly educated.
highly educated, they have advanced learning environment, and they are all educated. Most of them, they are, at least they have basic education. So you go to different countries of the world where they are Islamic. Look at Iran. Iran, you see the high level of intelligence in that country, and you even see them, they are even technologically wise. So go to
Ghana is even some point has a historical background in education, like from far back time.
So northern Nigeria, they should stop using education as a tool to, depriving the religion as a tool to depriving their people of education. Probably because they do not want them to think and for them to question the existing order. Because they know that if their people are thoroughly educated, then they will start asking questions. Then they will start holding their leaders to our account. So, but rather, they deliberately shy away from their responsibility and allow the people to suffer the consequences of becoming uneducated. And they tell them that it is even allowed in Islam that some people are born to have wealth, some are born to be poor. It is the duty of those who are rich to feed the poor. These are ideologies that once most of them are educated, they will question all of these things and they will demand for a better society rather than for them to carry a trace and be begging all across the streets. It does not make any sense. We are not looking for a Nigeria of beggars, but we are looking for a Nigeria of solution.
Thank you very much. Still on Badagry, lastly on Badagry, as at Saturday, there was a program that is doing a campaign against cultural and organization. Where the NDL, the Nigerian Police, and the Commissioner of Police, where they spoke extensively, discussed extensively on how to stop this, drug abuse most important, and the fact that Nigeria, the fact that Badagry remains a border town calls for concern because these are, is a way to the nation where all of these things comes through. Drugs come through the border and several other things. So this is becoming a concern, becoming concerning. Like from your take, what can you say? Looking at the rise in usage of several drugs and rise in quantity in Nigeria.
Badagry has over the years been suffering from, especially rise in poverty. The issue of housing is becoming a threat in Badagry. But, against the backdrop of having a lot of poverty, the rise of poverty, Badagry is equally a cultural society. That people, have a culture they have to protect, and the society do not, condone cultism. They do not accept them. In fact,
Which is
they
making
make
it
it
difficult
for them to successfully operate. Even an ordinary person look at you once they see you smoking, they look at you as an irresponsible person.
Yeah.
And they even do their findings to know where the home you come from. They say, your parents. They may even tell you the history of your family. That probably your father too is a criminal. That is why you are indulging in all of this. So if you look at that as a background and look at the current problem of drug abuse and cultism in Badagry, one of the problems has been rather than the border for us to think about using that border as a means of interacting. Most of the youth are now using that as a point of destroying their own lives by getting drugs through that border, getting different kind of arms through that same border. Cultists now enhance themselves by arms and ammunition in lots even outside Nigeria, and that drug, most of them, once they are on drugs, they believe that nothing can happen. They believe they can do anything, and they are not even conscious of their self. So they behave in a way that is irrational. But I am mostly happy that that kind of campaign is coming up from, it's an interagency campaign.
Yeah.
Both the police and
The Youth Council,
NYC,
National Youth Council of Badagry, the
uh,
Commissioner of Youth,
the Commissioner of Youth is there,
Nigeria
Police, they are equally there. Then Badagry youths are equally present at that event. So it's a way, if we can have that kind of campaign constantly, and it shouldn't even be restricted to a town hall. Of course, I've seen NDLA doing that,
going to the market,
yes,
to the parks, bus
to
parks,
do their campaign. But then they should expand the scope. Mostly it has often been limited to Badagry township, and some axes of Nigeria. But they should expand the scope by going to rural areas, because these rural areas too, we have a lot of people who are on drugs, who are in the
And one thing I discovered is that some of them feel uncomfortable in staying in the township because of the presence of several security agencies. So they prefer going to the interior part where nobody will stress them, nobody will disturb them, and they engage in their drug use conveniently.
So the best way to bring back a safe society is first to address the underlying problems of drug abuse, of cultism. We should be able to look into our society. You see, the society has been becoming porous, right from the time people have started doing some illegal things that nobody is saying it to them. We should be able to have a kind of society back that a father will look at his son and tell him, look, what you are doing is wrong. That the father will go to police station, get the police officer to arrest his own child who is now smoking, who is now taking illegal drugs, get him arrested. That the father will go to NDLA, tell them, look, I need you to rehabilitate my child. This child is now in drugs, and we have to rehabilitate this person and bring back his brain back to normal. So, and the society itself, they should not be readily available to accept
and seeing those people as
they are doing the right,
enjoying themselves.
Yes.
You will see people, while you see some people after taking the drug, they stand misbehaving. You still see people making their videos, laughing.
Of course,
some
you
just
see
eating them
as a trend online. Why people will be on drugs and they post videos online? The society should be able to look up to them and tell them to their faces that, look, I cannot associate with you. That this lifestyle is unacceptable to you. It is not something that is cultural to us. It is alien and we cannot accept it. Most of them, over time, they go on all of these drugs. They are not even eating well. They are not taking the right medication. And they abuse all of these things.
And it destroys the internal organs, destroys the
sensory organs, and all of that. So the best way to contain all of this is that government should continue with sensitization from different communities. It should not be limited to one particular areas. They should do the sensitization across community. The government should equally empower traditional rulers to host, this kind of campaign in their various communities. They should invite speakers from different agencies to come and speak to their people. By that, they will be able to penetrate the local level.
All right, thank you for being with us. Thank you for lending your view. This is to discourage the use of drugs, because over time Badagry has been one of the peaceful local government.
Of course, Badagry is known to be a very peaceful place
in the state. So, and if these things, this cultism or this drug abuse is not properly addressed, properly looked into, it may affect the peaceful structure that has been existing over the years. That is why I think there's a need for the government to do more in terms of sensitizing people and calling people to order as regards the use of drugs, and further strengthen the security architecture on the borders of Badagry. Secondly, we'll be looking at Nigeria, what is going on in Nigeria currently over the weeks now. We have seen the current trending topic as regards protests is upcoming, is slated to vote by next month. There has been a lot of concern from individuals, from government, from several citizens, concerned citizens that those in charge of this protest should tread with care. They should be careful as the way they portray the play. They demand, they request for government to address matters of public concern. That they should take this with care because of several experience that has happened on this as is currently going in some countries, and what Nigeria has had few years back during the NSAS and several other things. But at the same time, some people will come up to say, if you are saying we shouldn't protest or call the government or attention, what is the government doing better to address the challenge of rising cost of things? You see goods that were sold at 25,000 a few years ago is now going to 55,000. You see goods that were sold at 200 is now at almost 1,000 naira. You see goods that the prices are just skyrocketing, making life difficult. You see several people committing suicide because of hardship. What do you think Nigerians can do better if they wouldn't protest? That will make the government to know that these people are rich.
You see, protest is within the constitutional right of a Nigerian. Nigerians have the right to protest their grievances to the government, but that same right is still checked by that same constitution that gives them the right. The constitution did not permit Nigerians to protest to destruction. That in the process of protest, they should take violence as an act. So the constitution is very clear. You have the right to protest. In fact, you have the right to police protection during protests, and it should be within limits. It's not to disrupt the entire process of the state, or to try to create some mayhem or unleash mayhem on the state. So if that is clearly accepted, then the August 1 protest is within the right of Nigerians to go about it. That government has been expressing fear and concern about the protest is normal, because you need to understand that we have seen a protest recently in Kenya, and the Kenya protest happens to be an eye-opener to Nigerians, and so many Nigerians have referred to the Kenya protest. And if you look at the process of Kenya protest, it's now looking similar to Nigerian protest, because Kenya protest was successful because they did not have a leader, they do not have someone the government can negotiate with. And in this same vein, this government has been calling for the negotiation with the protesters, the leaders of the protest, but nobody is coming out to say that they are the organizers of this protest, and that left the government with a lot of fear that look, they have to be careful with this kind of protest that is coming up without a leader. And if you see what has happened in Kenya, a lot of government agencies have been shut down, have been scratched. A lot of ministers were suspended. So different things have happened, and yet they still continue to demand for the resignation of the president. So no government, whether APC, PDP or Labour Party, will come to power and allow any protest that will continue the government continue their mandates that they are given by the electorate. So if you look at all of this, and for some quarters of the protest, we are calling it days of rage. We need to look at it. people should understand what protest means, what the real meaning of protest is. And for you to call protest the days of rage, then government will be very careful to addressing this kind of challenge, because if you say something is the days of rage, it means the days of anger, it means the days of annoyance,
days of destruction,
exactly.
days of revenge.
It can as well mean days of destruction, because if you look at it, days of rage can simply, an angry man,
Yeah.
you can never control the mind of an angry man.
Can't even tell the limit at which an angry man can.
Yeah, so rage,
Yeah.
someone who is now on a rage means that the anger is beyond limits. So, and that person may definitely want to unleash mayhem on the state. So government will now be, trying to look for every means not to allow that kind of situation to happen. And that is why we have seen that the government is coming out differently to look for every means to stop the oncoming protest. But for me, I do not think it is within the powers of the Nigerian government to stop that protest. But rather, Nigerian government should look for means to quickly address some of the challenges
on demand
of Nigerians. If Nigerians are hungry, a hungry man, or they say the idle man is the devil's workshop.
Yeah.
If Nigerians are engaged, look at it from this way. Why should it be that it is when Nigerians are now trying to come out with a heavy protest that NNPC is now coming out to say there is job vacancy? And that website was shut down within 3 days because of the traffic. The traffic on that website collapsed the website. It tells you that we have millions of jobless Nigerian youths.
Does that mean that is another thing? Does that mean that over time NNPC has been recruiting and has not been telling the people?
There is no.
Or does that mean that the advert was released to discourage Nigerians from protest? If there has been a need for NNPC to employ people, why not before now?
That is some of the problem, that you see that people have now tried to come out to express their anger, and it is now that the government is now looking for ways to discourage them from expressing all of these things. Shows that the government itself is complicit, because we should not wait until when people or citizens can no longer afford daily meal, and somebody who cannot afford daily meal, once they tell that person to take up arms to fight against his oppressor, that person will definitely be available, because since he knows that, well, if I did not fight, I don't have a meal. Now it's better to fight. Possibly I can get a meal. So that's the dilemma. And Nigerian government should have addressed all of this. The NNPC did not, for me, they have acted in a way that it should be suspected. They have been illegally, recruiting people before now, and it has never been open to Nigerians. Because why should you come out with that right now? And even look at National Youth Investment Funds. They have equally released 110 billion naira that Nigerian youth should, different both SMEs and the rest, if you apply for loans, if you apply for grants and so many other things. Why now? Why are all of this coming up now? So it shows that on the part of those agencies or on the part of government, they are not sincere to Nigerians. And the yearnings of Nigerians, they have often taken it for granted. But for now, that all of these things are coming up, is simply saying that government is indicting themselves. That, look, we have been punishing you people before, but now that you are coming to fight for your rights, then we have to quickly address it. But again, to the protesters, they should do it within the limits of the constitution. There should be no destruction, because we need to understand that once we destroy properties, what we call government property, we are not punishing those in government, we are equally punishing ourselves. BRT that were burnt down in 2020. Till today, some people do not have access to BRT, because the one you have been using before, you have been managing, it's not enough. Now you have destroyed some of them.
And that does not stop the government or government
from
officials
functioning.
from functioning or
They have
accessing.
their own means of transportation and comfortable lifestyle. So most of the properties that were destroyed, we the people are still the one who will suffer for it. So for me, I think if Nigerians are protesting, they should do the protest within the confines and limits of the law.
Because that has always been the concern of the government officials, security agencies, that we will not allow this country to be thrown into chaos. We will not allow this country to be divided. We will not allow this country, anybody, some group, come and disrupt the peace of this country. That has been the major concern because at some point, recently, lastly, the government has even said they allow the Nigerian what not to throw Nigeria into chaos.
Of course, we cannot use our hand to destroy our common patrimony. And that we will not destroy our common patrimony does not imply that government have to take anything for granted. So Nigerians are important. It is because of the people that the government has been surviving.
Yeah.
Government cannot survive without the people. And government should not take the people for a ride that they are living a exorbitant lifestyle and the people are always suffering. Yes, you are telling the people that they should endure, that you are coming up with solution, but every day there is more problem. So there is more suffering, there is more suicide. So Nigerians in all have to continue to pressurize the government to do the right thing. And again, like I've been saying, the current president participated in protests.
Yeah, back then.
The immediate past president equally participated in protests.
Yeah.
But we have to understand something, that they have led protests themselves. They were in front of protests to address a particular problem. But the protest, there was no destruction. So we need to understand that. So equally now that they are not in power, there can be protest, but there should be no destruction. What we destroy at the end of the day, government will still use our money to fix those problems. So and who is now standing out to lose? We the people will still lose because the money that could have been used to address some other problem will now be invested into what we have that has been destroyed. So we are not saying Nigerians should protest. There should be protest, but it should be very peaceful. And for those, there have equally been the issue of some portals that have been saying that there is going to be an festival from on the 1st till the 15th. That's equally unacceptable. It does not make any sense. That we are condemning something does not imply that some people should now be hiding under government protection and falling within the wrong thing. Why can you hold people hostage to their houses for 15 days and they are coming out to do some traditional rituals? Why in ritual inside
Lagos State, that is an economic hub
of Lagos State, how can there be rituals, a cultural ritual to hold the economy for 15 days? It does not make any sense. How can you stop the people, stop the students from going to school, stop every activity, and stop women from going to market for 15 days? If there is protest did not stop people from going out.
It's not even about that. What's the provision to make people survive in their houses for 15 days?
For 15
and for
days.
people that get they survive on daily activities. How do you expect them? Some that had perishable goods. How do they maintain their goods in a Nigerian economy where there is no even any form of preservatives or to preserve or electricity to preserve some most of these goods? Don't you think it will further affect the economy?
You see that we cannot have two sides to our honesty.
Yeah.
That we are trying to say that people who are protesting should do that within the limits of the law. It does not imply that people will now hide under government protection and they say they are now doing some cultural rituals which will now prohibit the people from coming out for 15 days. It is illegal, it's unacceptable, and we are calling on the governments, the Lagos state governments, the federal government to call all traditional leaders to order and to call everybody involved in all of this unacceptable tradition to order. They should all be called to order, and they should be informed that people have the right to their peaceful business, to their normal lifestyle, and it is within the confines of the constitution. The Oro is cultural, it is not constitutional. So they should understand that they cannot hold Nigerians back from accessing their streets, from accessing their markets, from buying and trading, from doing their legitimate constitutional rights. So they should understand all of this, and government should caution them that they have done it once and they were successful does not imply that they should do it again. Because doing it again means that you are equally telling other portals that they should go and prepare for means to counter them. And again, they are now trying to bring down the reputation of their culture. Because for you to always try to bring up something that is supposed to be sacred,
Yeah.
to now
Into
bring
political
political
affairs.
affairs every time. Meddling with Oro, it means that you are now bringing down the reputation of that institution. And again, it can actually lead to chaos, because if, for instance, you are now carrying out the Oro activity and the military men are now parading, probably they are without their uniforms, and they are moving and you try to attack them, then you can be rest assured that most of them can be killed in the process, and the military will deny that they are unknown government. So these are situations that can lead to chaos, and they should all be called to order. There should be nothing like activity from on the 1st to on the 15th of August, and protesters have a constitutional power backing what they are doing, but we discourage anything that has to do
Because the
with
reference has always been to the NSAS that happened in 2020.
yes.
So that the NSAS was said to have come cost the state a lot. But some of the time, I was not even thinking from what taking looking at the how events unfold during the NSAS. Are we saying that the protesters was with the intention to cause mayhem or to destroy Lagos State from the start?
From what I know was that the protesters were all out. They were gyrating. So many at some point, so many musicians wanted to join them.
I can remember the governor was there.
Even Mr. Governor, His Excellency Badagry was equally there. To
Some
came out
commissioners was with them.
yes, to even speak to the people, and they were there together without any form of
And nobody was attacked.
and there was no form of attack. The whole attack started when there was, when they unleashed terror upon the peaceful protesters.
There
So
was some hoodlums and
they are claimed, first there was hoodlums, but those who sent those hoodlums is still a question that so many people have come out to say that government were the one, because were seen or that police vehicle conveying them to those scenes to attack the peaceful protester. So, and even there were some videos too to back up that claim. Those who have said that have equally said that with videos showing police officers using their official vehicle to carry hoodlums who attack the peaceful protesters from those venues. And if you look at it, before any destruction started, it was as a result of those attacks on the protesters that led to the protest now became hijacked, because most often those who were involved in the peaceful protest were not those who actually unleashed those terrors on the state, but they were most of all these terrors were unleashed on the state as a result of those who were looking for means and opportunity to unleash terror from the onset. Now,
at first they could not, since it was all peaceful.
yes, it was all peaceful, but they now see it as an avenue to unleash terror since there was provocation. So we are encouraging government that they should release police officers to protect all protesters wherever they are. The idea that the IGP has said that the organizers should send their names and their phone numbers and address to police, I do not see it as constitutional. There is nowhere in the constitution that says that protesters should submit their names to the police, but protesters can seek for police protection. Police should go with them.
Yes.
They should, be under thorough police protection. That anywhere they are moving to, police should be moving with them. They should be under surveillance, and the police should be alerted that in case there is going to be an attack on all of these peaceful protesters, the police should immediately repel the attack. So if all of this can happen, I can assure you that there won't be any form of terror to be unleashed upon the states. And we are equally using this means to tell the government that they should do something. Nigerians are hungry. People are dying. A lot of people, a lot of families can no longer afford a meal.
A police officer was sent to America who has committed suicide in Adamawa State. Yes, because of hunger.
Because you see, even most of these police officers, I have a friend in the army who told me that his salary can no longer bring him back to Lagos from Borno. And you will look at it that if his salary cannot bring him from Borno to Lagos, then how is he going to survive a family? How is he going to cater for the daily needs? So even most of all of these police officers and military officers, you can see that they are remorseful, and that is why we have seen increase of resignation happening in the military.
Some escape.
Some have resigned willingly, some have left their jobs without resignation letter, and so many of all of these have been happening. We are saying that the government should look for means to address hunger. A man who cannot feed himself will be available to do anything. Crime will increase. There will be a lot of problem within the state. But if we can address the problem of hunger, one, government should, rather than continuously sharing foods to Nigerians that they cannot sustain, because most of the food they have been sharing is not enough to sustain any family for a day. And there have been a lot of people that have never gotten.
Of course, even what, let's just even say those that have been getting. What are the quantities that are getting
a cup of rice?
A cup of rice that cannot, a cup of garri, cup of rice
that cannot survive a family for a day.
Most there have been information flying around where you see office holders, political leaders stocking these foods in their house.
Yes. So government should not allow something drastic to happen before they caution every agency of government or every political office holder that they have to do what is right. And government, we are discouraging government from continuously sharing food. Look for alternatives rather than sharing food or
sharing money.
They should rather share agricultural input to every interested Nigerian who is interested in going to farm. The best thing they can do to ensure that the person truly is going to farm, there should be an agency that will ensure that, look, where is your farm? Go there, show them. Even if you have a plot, you are solving a problem. Yeah. You should be given those fertilizers, farm inputs, then tractors, seedlings, good seedlings to be released to farmers. And again, the issue of tractor, if you look at the price currently to grade a plot of land, now they are now collecting 15,000 a plot of land. Now if you are now thinking about someone who is going to grade about 1 acre, then you are now, in fact, they will have to beg for them to accept something around 55,000 naira from them for a plot of land. After grading, that same person will still pay people who will go to his farm to weed. They will still pay those who will plant. They will still pay for another weeding. Then you still pay a lot of money, fertilizers, Manoah. All of these are still going to be involved. And at the end of the day, cost of production is higher. Then cost of market prices will definitely be higher. So we are saying that government should provide all of these things,
agricultural
fertilizers, in farm inputs generally. Yeah, government should provide it to every interested farmers.
And most
And
importantly,
there should be security to farmlands for those who are, cattle breeders. The US is the largest exporter of pigs across the world. The UK happens to be one of the largest exporter of cattle, beefs across the world. But yet you will never see a cow on the street of UK or see a pig on the street of US. So if all of this can happen, then Nigerian government should mandate those who cattle breeders. They are doing their business. Rearing of cattle is business. Then you have a right. If you have a farm that you know that you can take your cows to, then you have to hang a rope around their necks to tie them for them not to move beyond the limit of where you have sent them to. And if any Fulani herdsman or whoever is rearing cattle, if you have to move around, then you should buy as much as possible land that will allow you to move within your land, because it's your business. If you cannot do that, then there should be ranches. Then they should start processing foods. There are foods that you can process and give your cattle, and for without even you won't even see your cattle on the street and they are living fine. You are making a lot of money from the business, and you are not ready to invest anything in the process of
rather use it to destroy.
you now use it deliberately to destroy the food of Nigeria. Nigeria can survive without cattle, without eating beef.
Yes.
But nobody can survive without eating food. We need food. Food is priority. If you are offered rice and stew, protein is only an alternative. It's not compulsory. People would rather want to eat than saying by force I have to eat meat. If you see meat, most of all of these people that are going out to the street to protest, do you think that if they have means to eating a square meal on daily basis, that they can just eat, whether meat or no meat, whether fish or no fish, if they can just eat comfortably morning, afternoon and night, do you think they will be going out to the street to protest? So if this is established, then government should look for means to contain that. They have established an agency that is now dealing with cattle, livestock. It's enough to address this problem immediately. They should look for means to stop every forms of migrant cattle rearers. So all these nomads, they should stop. There should no longer be movement of cattle from one place to the other, especially for destruction of farmlands. So if there is security to farmlands, then government should provide farming goods, and there will be food, the issue of food crisis or food insecurity will stop.
And if food security is stopped, prices of things are down, I think this process, the protesting will not be as serious.
Nobody can substantiate the reason for protest. Probably if they are even protesting, it will be for other things. But this protest is gathering momentum because people are hungry.
There are most people are even calling it hunger or hardship protest.
Exactly. It is because people are hungry. The common man cannot afford what they need, basic needs, they cannot afford. Go and carry out a survey. How many women can buy parts again? But they won't tell you. Most of them have been looking for, they have been using alternatives. How many of them can buy it? They are looking for food. You are telling them to use money to go and buy parts, or to look at babies. All of these poor people, they still have babies. Now you are now telling them to go and buy pampers when they have not even eaten. They will still have to look for rags to tie to make an artificial, or then how do I call it, for babies, and it is not healthy for these children. So malnutrition and all of the rest, because there is no food. If there is food, the issue of malnutrition will be minimal. You have options. The little you have, you can easily buy what you need. We are blessed in this country. We have a lot of farmlands that Nigerians can farm. Go to Ogun State, go to different places in the north. They have a lot of lands.
The fortunate thing about Nigeria, there are a lot of crops that we can plant in this country that even some countries around the world do not have that.
Of course. Look at Indonesia today. Indonesia took farm seedlings from Nigeria. and today he happens to be one of the largest
and
exporter.
Malaysia.
I mean Malaysia. He happens to be the largest exporter in the world.
Oil.
So what are we saying? Those who came to us to take seedling, look at Badagry today. Badagry happens to be one of the largest exporter of coconut over the years, but today they are no longer
And
the
Badagry
largest.
is becoming one of the largest importer.
Yes, and it is against what it used to be. Today we are now seeing that we are now losing value what would ordinarily be because of hunger. People are selling lands not because some of them have the intention to, but because they need to solve some problems
Yeah.
and they can no longer sustain those farmlands. They have to sell it off. Now you see people are now building everywhere, and what do we have? Hunger. So Nigerian government, we are saying that they should look for ways to address the root cause of all of this problem. We provide some solutions sometimes ago that if everybody can be sincere, that government should bring out buses at a subsidized rate. Subsidized rate. There should be buses at subsidized rates that can afford or can allow people to go about their businesses at lower prices. Then it will equally reduce food prices.
Yeah, even the tension of subsidy removal.
It will not be felt that much, but because government is not even looking towards that direction, and even government is not even controlling transportation in itself, because if government is controlling means of transportation entirely, all of this problem of subsidy removal will not be largely felt, since they rather than subsidizing, they will subsidize transportation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think the government of the day has a lot to do because over time people have been saying that Nigeria should give the government more time than just spending some years, just over a year. And meanwhile, administration, every administration in Nigeria is now 4 years. By the time 1 year is off, some always calculate that by the time 1 year is up, they only have 2 years left because the last 1 year will be used for campaign and preparation for another election. So, don't you think, demanding for a better governance, better things in this country is coming at the right time or it's coming at the wrong time?
Well, if Nigerians are demanding for better governance now, there is no better time now because Nigerians have been facing problems. Being a Nigerian is not a cause. Nigerians, we have seen different governments who kept on promising. It even led that at some point I even have to say that it is even better to have a dictator who will remain in power and can develop the country, and we will have stable institutions and everything, than having a democratic institutions where different individuals,
Looking at countries like China,
yes, where different individuals will come and enrich themselves
because
and look at the time frame that, look, I have 4 years or 8 years in office, let me just quickly enrich myself and my cronies and my families and quickly live without anything to show for it. So I usually look at it from that angle, and most often is democracy truly working in Africa? Does it mean that Africa needs their own form of government that can allow them to hold whoever is their representative more accountable? Probably we should start using Ogun Sango to swear in people. That immediately you are trying to deviate from the original intention, the God should strike. By that, we no need protest.
Because over time you see some countries that attack Nigeria back then.
They have left Nigeria
behind. Where you see Nigeria at this point importing petroleum products from Togo to Nigeria.
That's insulting. Look at it. China recent development took off from the 1970s, 80s. That is when China started.
While Nigeria, by then Nigeria has got it.
Nigeria as at the 1970s is already a big boy. Nigeria's in the 80s, in the 90s is already dashing out money. They don't know what to do. That was why the former head of state one could say that the problem of Nigeria is not money, but it's how to spend it. That is why they go ahead to Sierra Leone, to Liberia, to dash out Nigerian money, to dash out Nigerian troops, go and resolve problem. Look, foreign policy is about interest. Foreign policy is not about dashing out. It's not about, there is no Father Christmas in international politics. But it is only on the part of Nigeria that we have seen that the Nigerian government will release funds to different countries without any, substituting interest. If we are giving you money to do this, what are we getting in return? Are you giving us contract in your country for us to come and develop? What are we doing to recoup our money back to our country, or to get foreign direct investment? But Nigeria will only give out. US will not give you money if they are not interested in coming to take something from you. So international politics on the part of Nigeria has been that Nigeria were dashing out money. But if you look at it, from that 80s, China was looking for how to develop China, and they were creating a foreign policy that would be pro-China, pro-Chinese.
Not
It is
pro
Chinese interest.
not pro
It
Asia.
is not pro-Asia. That Nigeria is looking at Africa as the centerpiece of the foreign policy. That is an idealistic foreign policy.
Unachievable.
It is not real. It does not work that way. You use your money to support South Africa during apartheid. What have we gotten in return? You fought, you supported Ghana, you supported Liberia, you supported Sierra Leone, you supported Gambia, you supported all of these countries. What have we gotten in return? Idealistic foreign policy does not work. You need a realistic foreign policy. You should, once you are giving out, you should take. It's just like a guy and a girl that are dating each other. If the guy is giving out money to that girl, he's already planning on how to bring her back down. So you look at it, Nigeria foreign policy is not working to favor Nigeria, and that foreign policy have to be changed.
Do you think, as regards this, do you think it's the foreign policy itself, or the individuals that are supposed to, that are holding positions to make policies, to make decisions? Don't you think Nigerians are not putting the right peg in the right holes? Because this can be simply be traced to something that happened recently, involving the Honorable Lume. As regard where he was, after he made some statements, he was suspended from an office and was eventually offered another office, where he came out to say, I don't know anything about that. Why are you giving me this office?
Yes, Nigeria has dual problem. First, foreign policy is faulty. Then second, those that are involved in foreign policy
Making
process of Nigeria are not equally expert in that. For Nigerian foreign policy to work to the favor of Nigeria, Nigeria actually needs people who have knowledge. You see, we need diplomats. There should be no biases about going into foreign policy.
Yeah.
We need people who have historical knowledge, and at the same time they are diplomats.
On that note, I think it's better to say the government should start using such position as political compensation. So, active members of the party, stop compensating.
Yes, government should stop compensating people with foreign nation. Sending diplomats to country. If you read people's profile, diplomats profile that are coming from the US, from different countries of the world, well, if they are coming to your country, you should already be afraid that, look, this person is an expert. This is not a political appointment, but rather an expert has been sought for and is now coming. Then you have to be prepared, because his negotiation skill will be very high. So in that case, if Nigeria is equally looking for ambassadors, it should not be the situation where you just look for one military man and send him to go and represent Nigeria. What is his knowledge about diplomacy? How best can a military man
negotiate
in
the interest of the country?
Exactly. So for me, I think the government should start looking for means to use experts. They should start looking for means to use experts who understand historical knowledge first, you need to understand the country that you are going to.
Hmm.
Whether you have been there or not, you should be able to say something about that country, that this is how it is, this is the geography, this is the people,
This is their background.
this is how they look like, this is how they behave. You should understand all of these things. Then before you now become an ambassador going to that country, they already know that you have knowledge about where you are coming to. And again, your negotiation skill will be top notch because it is your field. But most often our ambassadors are those who just take this appointment just to, go and relax.
Yeah.
So they are going there to relax. They are not going there to negotiate.
I even have some access to some information whereby from the command they don't even all the those that do the jobs that they are PA and those assistants, they don't even know
Who
what
have less or no
yeah.
knowledge.
They are just there, they just fill the office, all they do is just to sign papers. And well, in such case, don't you think they will even sign things now?
Jeopardize the interest of Nigeria. So that is some of the problem we have been having. It's just signing. And today we look at Nigeria. No country is respecting us. Everybody is treating us as trash. If we are blaming domestic policy, we should equally blame our foreign policy, because our foreign policy is not speaking to our interests. America is saying America first. America first is not an ordinary war. It is foreign policy that they are going to treat they have problems, they have challenges in America, they have gun violence, there are different issues that are ongoing in America. But if they are saying America first, it means that in everything you do it is the state first. But Nigeria is not saying Nigeria first. Nigeria is saying Africa first. That then it shows that something is wrong with the mentality of those who even created that foreign policy.
Thank you so much. As regards this, I would believe that the right persons, the right officers see it and see the need to address these matters for the betterment of Nigeria, for Nigeria to develop, and for us to remain one and a giant of Africa that we are all. Lastly, on our show today, we're looking at the visit of Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, to US. Over time, we know about the crisis that is going on in the Middle East as regards the Palestinian crisis. And Netanyahu is now, the election is at the peak, and Netanyahu is visiting US. What message do you think that is sending to the people, in Middle East and the US citizens?
The visit of Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has had a mixed reaction. While he was, for the very first time, he was given the floor in the US Congress to speak to Americans. Some Republicans, some members of the Congress staged a protest by walking out from the Congress. Then some have stayed and applauded him while he was talking. Every bit of his conversation, he linked up US. He tried to link up US interests and Israeli interests by saying that they both have a common enemy in Iran. That Iran has been sponsoring terrorism, and the US truly Iran happens to be an enemy of the US, and Israel is now saying that they both have a common enemy that they have to come together to be attacked. So it's a way of saying that the man is very wise and he's trying to use his diplomatic means. Rather than for the US to condemn his actions, he's trying to look for means to lobby the US for further support. And if you look at his visits, again, there were a lot of people, American, probably some of them have come out to protest that same day in front of the Congress by protesting his visits, that the war should end and there's so many things to end. But again, if you see, after that visit, Benjamin Netanyahu even returned to the US abruptly, returned to Israel abruptly, mainly because of the attack that was ongoing at home.